Let's be honest. We've all held a certain view or a position about what the Bible taught on a certain topic, but then as the years pass, as we've studied, as we've grown and learned, we've changed our view on that thing. And I think it's honest and actually good that we just acknowledge that and we look at why that might happen. Here's a personal example for me. I used to always think that Genesis 6 had to do with sons of God who were human rulers, not divine beings. And the reason why I always thought this is because I was taught that divine beings just could not do something like this. And it was uncomfortable to read the consequence of such an idea that divine beings would rebel against God and would cohabitate, mate with human women, and produce hybrid beings that would essentially destroy the world and cause the flood to take place. Well, why is it that I was so tempted and motivated to read in human rulers? Because I was uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable with the implications, and there's a sense that I had to demythologize the Bible. But here's the thing. Once I actually came to the conclusion that B'nai Elohim, that Hebrew phrase, is most often used of supernatural beings, so why wouldn't I read the most natural reading into the text instead of doing kind of theologic loopholes and gymnastics in order to make it fit what I wanted to fit? I actually found that the Bible had so much more coherence. It actually makes sense of so much of what we know in mythology and stories that are out there that transcend different civilizations and people groups. It's like, well, wait a minute, they all have an origin story. The idea of Hercules and Theseus and Gilgamesh and these semi-divine beings that were great warriors, and like, where did all these origin stories come from? Here's great news. The Bible gives us those answers. And so, if you have found yourself in a place where you're like, man, I've always believed this, and yet there's good exegetical, biblical, and traditional historical evidence, that's okay. This is part of our maturing and growing in our faith.